Greetings and salutations to y'all once again. It's me, the Ravenous Spectre. Yeah. I just finished Doom, and basically this ended up bringing a whole new idea for a video to mind. Not just for Doom itself, but for games in general. But I am going to rant about Doom's ending. And like I said, this encompasses a whole bunch of things. Just dealing with endings in See, I'm so upset right now I can't even get my words freaking straight. The mere fact that games nowadays, at least it seems like some of the ones that I played, don't have cohesive, like, freaking endings that are worth going through a game through and having to sit through. Doom's ending is shit. It is short as hell and it is a cliffhanger. It makes no sense whatsoever. Okay, I can understand if you want to have a cliffhanger ending, but make the ending long enough to the point where it explains everything what's going on. I understand that Doom isn't all about story, but if you actually go and read the dossiers, it obviously meant for there to be story in it. You just have to read for it, and I made a video on that, so go check it out. About Doom not having any story? Wrong. It does. So if it went and did this, and they put some semblance of a story in it anyways, then they should have done that with the ending just as well. If they're going to put all this stuff in here for you to read about the story in general and the dossiers and all of that, they should have done the exact same damn thing with the ending. And overall, the game was great. From beginning to end, it pissed me off a few times, but I took a break from it and came back and kicked its ass. Kind of really surprised about the final boss battle too. I mean, I guess in a way this is kind of like spoilers for me, the fact of telling you what's going on with the ending, sucking and all that, but I'm not going to go into details about it. Let's just say that. Let me just say that I hated the ending because it was a cliffhanger and it was short. Let's just say that. I won't go into any spoilers or nothing, because mainly that ending ended up bringing about this idea for a video of dealing with gaming endings in general. You spend all this time going through a game that is just like so amazing, and say if you just wanted to be you're so addicted to it, you just want to go through it and play it and play it and play it and just do everything that the game has to offer. And you tell yourself, okay, I've gotten a good ways into the story, now I'm going to stop and pull back and I'm going to go ahead and just, do all the extra side content or something like that. And so you do, and then you go back to the story again. And surely enough, the ending sucks ass. And that really pisses you off. Because how hard is it for there to be some type of just cohesive ending with these games? How hard is that? I mean, do you have developers or publishers? Publishers are just as much to blame too by rushing the freaking product out the door and not giving the freaking product time to simmer in the pot to come up with a valid ending that the developers are trying to do. So screw you, publishers. You're just as much to blame. So if you end up making this amazing game, an amazing story, and amazing gameplay and missions and quests, what the heck ever, and here it is now, oh, we're going to have an ending and it's going to be just nothing but a turd. And that's all it is. Oh, wow, you build all the way up to this moment and you just go straight down the crapper, straight downhill. What freaking sense does that even make? I'm telling you, man. And people can say whatever they want to about role-playing games, about like Japanese role-playing games and things of that nature. The fact of the matter is they do have cohesive endings. The ones that I play, they do have cohesive endings. Even if they have somewhat of a cliffhanger, they still have a long enough ending to tie everything together like it should be, and just let you go on off from there. The thing is that the game itself is in and of itself its own story. So yeah, you can go on to another title and progress onward from there and end up continuing onward from there. That's perfectly understandable. But if you don't try to make the game where it can just be its own entity, really, then you done fucked, son. You done fucked. And I mean, I don't understand it nowadays. I just don't get it. I mean, why can't they have a really cohesive ending to these games? You try to make it so amazing and make it so great and wonderful and colossal and all this stuff. And when you just try, and that's another why people don't even want to bother finishing games, because they want to be in that world. They want to experience it. They want to, all of that. And then when they get to the ending, they're like, wow, all this work was for nothing. And people will go and say, oh, well, it's the journey, it's not the destination. Well, to me, yeah, I'm going to have a great journey, but I want to have a great destination just as well. Because to me, that's a complete package. You don't half-ass this stuff, and that's exactly what's going on. Developers and publishers are sorry, half-assing these endings. That's exactly what's happening. That's the way it's been going on with a lot of like AAA titles. I don't know what type of brain farts they're having here, but apparently they're very colossal ones, because they aren't taking the time to think and get through these endings like they want to and actually have a cohesive ending. And I don't freaking understand it, and it pisses me off, and it pisses a lot of you other ones out there off too, and I know it because many other friends of mine have said the exact same thing about some of their favorite games having these shitty ass endings. I don't get it. I mean, you know, it especially like, for example, if you have open world games, yeah, you're kind of creating your own story, especially if you created your own character. Perfectly understandable. Obviously, you're doing your own thing, you're making your own thing, you know, you're telling your own story, but you want there to be some type of real ending to it. And I just, I sit back and shake my head at these things, man. It's almost like sometimes, honestly, when I'm playing a game, it's like there's sometimes I don't even want to finish the game itself because I feel like it's going to have a shitty ending. I mean, I do want to finish it because I want to know the fact that I have that already passed along in my log, especially the long backlog that I have of games. It's already one game that's checked off on my log list, and it's like, well, I finished it, and I'm glad, but the ending is shit. And then there's other games where I'm like, okay, well, I don't want to finish this because I want it to continue because I'm scared of getting a shitty ending. So it's like I want that thought to stay in my head, like, oh, well, it's probably going to be really great. It's going to be good. I don't want to finish it, you know. And obviously I move on to something else. But I swear, man, I don't get it. I just do not get it. How is it? Oh my God. How hard is it? How freaking hard is it to have a game that just has a real cohesive freaking ending? How hard is it? I go and pay $60 and you half-ass the son of a bitch. God almighty, man. I swear. To me, it's the whole package. It's not just the gameplay to me. Yeah, that's like the main thing, but it's the whole freaking package. Whole package, not half the damn package, the whole freaking package. And the package deals with freaking story and having a freaking good ending, which you don't have in a lot of AAA titles nowadays, and it's bullshit. And it pisses me off to no end. See, I'm really getting worked up now. My daggum blood pressure's going up, my temperature's rising, I'm starting to sweat, because it's bullshit. It pisses me off. I just want to be able to have a nice cohesive ending to a great game or a great story or whatever. How hard is that? How hard is that? Internet, how freaking hard is that? How freaking hard is that? If you're working on a game and publishers, fuck you too, because you're screwing it up just as well, because you're shoving these developers out the door for them to go and push their game out there, and you're not giving them enough time to cook up something interesting. Pisses me off. And it pisses a lot of other people off out there too. Trust me on that. God. Whew. Lord Jesus, let me calm down. I swear, dude, oh my, oh man. It's funny, because I was actually discussing this exact same topic with a friend of mine some odd months ago on how he's pissed off about how, you know, you go through a great game and you got a shitty ending. That's the exact same way that it is with Doom. Great game, shitty ending. You know, and I don't want to hear any negative comments or anything like that, like, oh, well, Doom is all about gameplay, it's not about story. Well, if you look at my video where it says Doom doesn't have any story, wrong. Well, if you play the game and you go and read the dossiers and all that, you'll know that it has story. Why it didn't actually put it into the story itself, like with cutscenes and gameplay and all of that, I don't know, but it's in there. And they could have done the same thing with the freaking ending. I feel like I'm just got a lot of breath coming out of me. You know, I'm trying to catch up. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. It was just kind of a rant video dealing with that. But I swear, dude, I don't understand. I don't understand how hard it is nowadays. And another thing, you know, some of these games that go and get delays, if they're getting delays, they can work on a freaking cohesive ending. You can do that just as well, dumbass. I'm pretty sure you're not just working on bugs and kinks and glitches and all that. You can do the exact same thing with the ending. If you come up with a shitty ending before you release it, you're like, oh, we're going to delay this a few more months. Then work on the freaking ending just as well. How hard is that for you to do? You got more than enough time for you to be able to brainstorm to come up with a much better ending. Otherwise, why are you making the freaking game with a freaking story in the first freaking place? Make a good freaking ending. Make it satisfying to the audience. Because this isn't fucking satisfying at all. So now I'm going in and trying out SnapMap. We'll see how that goes, just to try out some player-created stuff. Not going to bother with multiplayer because it's shit. Maybe updates, when those come on in the future, maybe multiplayer would be better. I don't know. You know my stance on multiplayer. If you've seen some of my videos, really don't give a shit. Unless I'm playing with other friends. Otherwise, fight. Just fight! Fuck it! Anyways. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. I'm starting to perspire just a little bit. So, and I need to shave. I'll go ahead and end this now. Later, taters. And developers and publishers, make better freaking endings for your freaking games. How freaking hard is that? You spend all this time making a damn game, and then you want to go and delay it, and you still don't have a good ending. I don't freaking understand it. I don't. I just don't. And I don't agree with that whole talk of like whoever it was that they were talking about Doom, like, oh well, story a story in a video game is like a story in a porno. It's supposed to be there, it doesn't have a meaning. Wake up, jackass! It's the new generation. Story means a lot in games, and it just increases the amount of gameplay that can happen, and it increases the interest in the game itself. So reality check: story does matter. As far as I'm concerned, it does. People can have their own thoughts on that. Story matters to me just as well as it does to millions of others. I don't read books. I play video games. I want my stories from there. I want to be interactive with my stories. I want to see them happening up on stage. On screen. Well, technically the screen is like a stage because it's showing you, whatever. I'm not getting into the logistics of that. But story does matter in games. Maybe it didn't really back then, which is bullshit, because JRPGs and other RPGs came out, story really did matter just as well as gameplay. You can't go and say one thing doesn't matter when it was one of the main things that really kind of increased interest in games anyways in the first damn place. Look at all the freaking walking simulators, for God's sakes. With, oh, we got the story here, and we're walking around, and we're poking little things and this, that, and the other. I'm pretty damn sure story matters nowadays. Especially if it's in a really awesome game. So, story matters. Video games and porno, as far as I'm concerned, ain't got nothing to do with one another, especially not in this sense. Story in a game is like story in a porno. It's supposed to be there, but it doesn't really matter. You're full of shit. It does matter. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and end this now. Later, taters. And make better endings.